1. Under California law, who is responsible for ensuring a firearm is transferred through a licensed dealer? A. The purchaser only. B. The seller only. C. Both the seller and purchaser. D. Local law enforcement. 2. Which of the following best aligns with adult learning principles when teaching firearms safety? A. Using rote memorization drills. B. Providing real-life scenarios for application. C. Repeating legal definitions verbatim. D. Testing before instruction. 3. Which firearm transaction is exempt from the dealer requirement under California law? A. Sales between friends. B. Private party transactions with background checks through a dealer. C. Family-to-family gift transfers involving handguns. D. Online auction sales. 4. In a training program on firearm storage laws, what curriculum method best supports knowledge retention for adults? A. Lecture-based teaching. B. Passive video observation. C. Interactive case-based discussion. D. Memorization of penal codes. 5. What is the minimum age requirement to purchase a long gun in California, barring exemptions? A. 16. B. 18. C. 21. D. 25. 6. According to California law, when must a firearm be unloaded and secured? A. Only when in a vehicle. B. Only in public places. C. When stored and not in use. D. Only during transport across state lines. 7. Which communication strategy is most effective for teaching firearm laws to diverse adult learners? A. One-way lectures using legal terminology. B. Interactive discussions using practical examples. C. Showing complex legislative videos. D. Requiring silent reading of the legal code. 8. When mentoring a new instructor in firearms safety education, which practice is most aligned with adult learning theory? A. Allowing learners to teach sections of the material. B. Assigning more reading than discussion. C. Enforcing rote drills. D. Limiting questions to end of class. 9. How long is a Firearm Safety Certificate FSC valid in California? A. 1 year. B. 3 years. C. 5 years. D. 10 years. 10. Which individual is prohibited from purchasing a firearm in California? A. Someone with unpaid traffic tickets. B. A person convicted of a felony. C. A registered voter with no criminal record. D. A person behind on taxes. 11. What approach best ensures legal compliance in firearm safety curriculum development? A. Consulting retired law enforcement only. B. Relying on outdated state manuals. C. Aligning content with current California DOJ regulations. D. Basing content on popular public opinion. 12. What is required before a person can legally acquire a firearm in California? A. A written promise to follow the law. B. Completion of an NRA safety course. C. A valid firearm safety certificate. D. Verification of local residency. 13. Which of the following is a key purpose of the FSC test? A. Determine shooting accuracy. B. Evaluate marksmanship skills. C. Promote understanding of firearm laws and safety. D. Identify potential law enforcement recruits. 14. What is a key element of California's safe storage law? A. Storing ammunition separately. B. Keeping a firearm loaded at all times. C. Firearms must be stored unloaded and locked. D. Firearms only need to be stored during travel. 15. Which of the following would be a violation of California firearm law? A. Storing a firearm in a locked safe. B. Carrying a loaded handgun in a locked car trunk. C. Lending a firearm to a friend for a hunting trip without dealer involvement. D. Transporting a rifle in a locked container. 16. What educational evaluation method best measures learner understanding of firearm transfer laws? A. Multiple choice test with definitions. B. True-false worksheet. C. Scenario-based application questions. D. Peer-graded essays. 17. When can a person legally carry a concealed firearm in California? A. With verbal permission from a police officer. B. When they own the firearm. C. With a valid concealed carry permit CCW. D. While attending a gun show. 18. What is the waiting period for firearm purchases in California? A. 3 days. B. 7 days. C. 10 days. D. 15 days. 19. When mentoring a colleague on FSC law instruction, what feedback method supports adult learning principles? A. Publicly correcting them mid-lecture. B. Providing written performance reviews only. C. Offering private, constructive feedback sessions. D. Assigning mandatory legal readings. 20. What entity administers the Firearm Safety Certificate Program? A. U.S. Department of Justice. B. California Department of Motor Vehicles. C. California Department of Justice. D. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives. 21. What is a legal requirement for firearm owners with minors in the home? A. No requirement if the child is older than 10. B. All firearms must be registered with local police. C. Firearms must be stored in a manner that prevents access. D. Firearms may be kept loaded but out of reach. 22. Which approach best engages adult learners in understanding California's prohibited person categories? A. Group storytelling about legal violations. B. Interactive Jeopardy-style quizzes. C. Memorizing lists of offenses. D. Watching instructional films. 23. Under California law, which type of firearm transfer is always illegal? A. Loaning a gun at a supervised range. B. Temporary loan to a family member without dealer involvement. C. Gift transfer between parent and adult child. D. Dealer-facilitated private party sale. 24. How does California define a safe handling demonstration? A. Shooting at a range under supervision. B. Cleaning and storing a firearm. C. Demonstrating safe loading-unloading procedures before purchase. D. Memorizing firearm parts. 25. What is the penalty for failing to comply with California's firearm transfer requirements? A. Community service. B. Warning citation. C. Misdemeanor or felony charges. D. Temporary loss of hunting license. 26. In the context of adult training on firearm safety, which method best supports retention of complex laws? A. Story-based scenarios with role play. B. Textbook definitions. C. Audio recordings. D. Flashcard drills. 27. What legal consequence can result from allowing a minor to access an unsecured firearm? A. Civil citation. B. No consequence if unintentional. C. Criminal prosecution. D. Parental counseling. 28. Which characteristic best defines a California-approved firearm safety device? A. Easy to remove without tools. B. Listed by the DOJ and meets minimum standards. C. Provided by the firearm dealer for free. D. Resembles a biometric lock. 29. What does the FSC test assess? A. Physical ability to shoot. B. Mental health fitness. C. Knowledge of safe handling and firearm laws. D. Political views on gun control. 30. What method is most effective for evaluating the success of a firearms safety workshop for adults? A. Attendee satisfaction surveys. B. Post-tests using case analysis. C. Counting the number of attendees. D. Length of instruction time. 31. What condition must be met to purchase a firearm from a licensed dealer in California? A. Proof of property ownership. B. Minimum 1 year of state residency. C. Successful completion of a background check. D. Previous military experience. 32. Which action violates California's child access prevention laws? A. Locking a firearm in a gun cabinet. B. Storing a firearm loaded in an unlocked drawer. C. Using a cable lock on a firearm. D. Educating children about gun safety. 33. Which curriculum development step ensures alignment with state law? A. Consulting social media feedback. B. Using unverified online sources. C. Reviewing the California DOJ's legal guidelines. D. Hiring an outside vendor with no legal background. 34. Who must keep a record of firearm transactions in California? A. Only the buyer. B. Only the seller. C. Both buyer and seller. D. Licensed dealers. 35. In California, what is the legal requirement for transporting a handgun? A. Loaded in a glove box. B. Carried openly in the front seat. C. Unloaded and locked in a secure container. D. Hidden under the driver's seat. 36. What teaching method aligns with adult learning when explaining prohibited persons laws? A. Listing offenses on a PowerPoint. B. Engaging learners in small group case reviews. C. Distributing a legal glossary. D. Memorization of court decisions. 37. What firearm-related offense carries a potential felony charge in California? A. Forgetting to renew an FSC. B. Possession by a prohibited person. C. Delay in registering a hunting rifle. D. Keeping ammunition in a glove box. 38. Which law applies to lost or stolen firearms in California? A. No legal obligation to report. B. Mandatory report to DOJ within 30 days. C. Must report to the DMV. D. Report only if damage is involved. 39. What is required to legally conduct a private party firearm transfer? A. Signed agreement. B. Notarized affidavit. C. Transfer through a licensed dealer. D. Transfer through law enforcement. 40. What is the purpose of a 10-day waiting period? A. Administrative processing. B. Mandatory safety training. C. Cooling off period and background check. D. Dealer scheduling flexibility. 41. What principle should guide feedback to adults after firearm law training? A. Delayed feedback. B. Public correction. C. Immediate, respectful, and specific. D. Generalized group remarks. 42. When are out-of-state firearm purchases legal under California law? A. Only at gun shows. B. Never legal. C. If transferred through a California licensed dealer. D. If purchaser travels with the firearm. 43. Which of the following is not a legal firearm possession disqualifier in California? A. DUI conviction from 5 years ago. B. Felony domestic violence conviction. C. Involuntary psychiatric hold. D. Active restraining order. 44. How should instructors address different levels of legal knowledge in a firearm safety class? A. Teach to the lowest common denominator. B. Skip complex topics. C. Differentiate instruction and provide resources. D. Assign group reading. 45. What should an instructor do if a learner disagrees with a state law? A. Debate legal philosophy. B. Dismiss the concern. C. Explain the law's intent and legal obligations. D. Ignore the question. 46. What is the purpose of the Firearm Safety Certificate requirement in California? A. To raise state revenue through testing fees. B. To ensure all gun owners have insurance. C. To educate firearm purchasers about safety and legal responsibilities. D. To track political affiliation of gun owners. 47. Which strategy best promotes compliance with safe firearm storage laws among new adult gun owners? A. Distributing legal code excerpts. B. Mandating weekly written tests. C. Providing hands-on demonstrations with locking devices. D. Sending legal notices through email. 48. In a firearm law education program, what instructional strategy would best support critical thinking? A. Open book quizzes. B. Facilitator-led debates on controversial firearm topics. C. Reading from a legal codebook. D. Listening to pre-recorded lectures. 49. Under California law, which of the following is not required for a firearms sale through a licensed dealer? A. Background check. B. Safe handling demonstration. C. Firearm Safety Certificate. D. Psychological evaluation. 50. What is the most appropriate mentoring technique to improve a peer's firearm law instructional delivery? A. Providing scripted content to memorize. B. Role-playing with feedback and observation. C. Assigning them to independent study. D. Removing them from instruction until they improve. 51. What California law addresses individuals who pose a threat and may need firearm removal? A. Stand Your Ground law. B. Red flag law, gun violence restraining order. C. Open carry ban. D. Assault Weapons Control Act. 52. Which instructional assessment best measures adult learners' ability to apply firearm transfer laws? A. Fill in the blank legal terms. B. Matching penalties to laws. C. Role-play simulations of legal purchase scenarios. D. Closed book spelling test. 53. What requirement applies to ammunition purchases in California? A. No restrictions exist. B. Must show FSC only. C. Background check and verification through a licensed vendor. D. Require notarized letter of intent. 54. What is a prohibited behavior when storing a firearm in a vehicle under California law? A. Locking the firearm in the trunk. B. Keeping it visible on the front seat. C. Unloading it and using a locked container. D. Storing it in a locked glove box. 55. What adult learning strategy is best used when teaching about felony firearm restrictions? A. Reading felony lists aloud. B. Facilitated small group analysis of real-life legal cases. C. Memorization worksheets. D. Oral recitation of firearm code. 56. Which situation legally exempts someone from having an FSC to acquire a firearm? A. Completion of military boot camp. B. Law enforcement officers with active credentials. C. Previous firearm ownership. D. Completion of online safety course. 57. Which of the following is a lawful firearm activity in California? A. Carrying a loaded firearm in public. B. Selling a gun to a neighbor without paperwork. C. Transporting an unloaded rifle in a locked case. D. Purchasing a handgun without a background check. 58. A student in a firearm safety course asks a politically sensitive question about the Second Amendment. What should the instructor do? A. Shut down the conversation. B. Redirect the discussion respectfully while keeping focus on California law. C. Share personal political views. D. End the session early. 59. What legal action must a gun owner take after selling a firearm through a licensed dealer? A. Keep a receipt for personal records only. B. Notify local police. C. No further action needed, dealer reports the sale. D. Contact the state attorney general. 60. What tool supports evaluation of a firearm law education program's effectiveness? A. Randomized firearm checks. B. Pre- and post-training assessments. C. Instructor popularity ratings. D. Number of printed certificates. 61. When teaching adult learners about firearm transportation laws, what method best supports retention? A. Watching a legal video. B. Participating in a mock vehicle inspection. C. Reading from DMV manuals. D. Group discussion on personal experiences. 62. Which group is legally prohibited from owning firearms under California law? A. Individuals who fail a traffic school class. B. Individuals under a domestic violence restraining order. C. Individuals with unpaid taxes. D. Individuals receiving unemployment benefits. 63. Which of the following situations is legal in California? A. Carrying a loaded handgun in a backpack on school grounds. B. Lending a firearm to a family member through a licensed dealer. C. Purchasing a firearm from another state with no background check. D. Giving a rifle to a coworker as a gift. 64. What is the goal of requiring a safe handling demonstration before firearm delivery? A. Confirm the person can legally possess a firearm. B. Prove law enforcement approval. C. Ensure the purchaser can safely operate the firearm. D. Create a database of users. 65. Which instructional strategy helps reduce anxiety about complex firearm laws for adult learners? A. Giving surprise oral quizzes. B. Avoiding discussion on legal penalties. C. Providing structured handouts and supportive group practice. D. Using difficult legal terminology early. 66. Which document is legally required to purchase a firearm in California? A. Social Security card. B. Proof of voter registration. C. Valid Firearm Safety Certificate. D. Birth certificate. 67. What consequence may occur if a firearm dealer sells to someone without a valid FSC? A. Minor infraction citation. B. Dealer's license suspension or revocation. C. Mandatory ethics training. D. Referral to county sheriff. 68. What action demonstrates ethical responsibility as a firearm safety instructor? A. Avoiding student questions about legal requirements. B. Presenting personal opinions as facts. C. Providing up-to-date legal content and verified resources. D. Only teaching material from memory. 69. Which of the following is not a recommended adult learning strategy in firearm law education? A. Case-based discussion. B. Scenario role play. C. Legal code memorization drills. D. Peer feedback and reflection. 70. What is one function of the California Department of Justice related to firearm law? A. Organizing shooting competitions. B. Enforcing federal hunting licenses. C. Overseeing the FSC program and dealer compliance. D. Creating local police regulations. FSC California Firearm Laws Test. The FSC Firearm Safety Certificate California Firearm Laws Test is a state-mandated written examination required for most individuals seeking to purchase or acquire firearms in California. Designed to promote responsible gun ownership, the test evaluates knowledge of safe firearm handling, storage practices, and compliance with state laws and regulations. It consists of multiple-choice questions covering topics such as prohibited persons, safe storage requirements, firearm transportation, and legal use. Administered by DOJ-certified instructors, the test aims to ensure that firearm owners understand their legal responsibilities and the risks associated with improper use or possession. Passing the test is required to obtain a firearm safety certificate, which remains valid for 5 years. Here are the top 5 beneficial uses of the sample exam. 1. Promotes legal compliance. The FSC test educates firearm purchasers on California's firearm laws, ensuring they understand legal responsibilities such as safe storage, transportation, and transfer regulations. 2. Enhances public safety. By requiring firearm buyers to demonstrate knowledge of handling and safety laws, the test helps reduce accidental discharges and unauthorized access, especially in households with children. 3. Supports responsible ownership. The test encourages buyers to think critically about safe practices and legal consequences, fostering a culture of accountability and ethical firearm ownership. 4. Standardizes firearm education. It provides a consistent, state-approved curriculum for firearm safety, making sure all applicants receive reliable and accurate legal information. 5. Serves as a preventive measure. By filtering out individuals unwilling or unable to meet basic safety and legal standards, the test acts as a barrier against reckless or unlawful firearm access.